Ancient systems of understanding the cosmos and life, such as astrology, are amazing tools to help you understand yourself. And if used properly, these tools can actually provide a deeper insight at the things about yourself that you don't really understand yet. This isn't a conversation about the pop astrology of being able to look at somebody and say, you're a Virgo. This is a deeper conversation about using this tool to help you organize your own internal universe so that you can categorize your world and understand yourself better. Tools like astrology can help you bring some structure to the parts of the self that are still in chaos and can give us enough information about the way that we operate to lead us into a breakthrough. And these breakthroughs help us defeat the biggest enemy of our lives, our own ignorance. My name is Silvana. I'm a course creator and the founder of the Venusian Academy, a space for the exploration of the divine feminine arts and Shakta Tantra. If you'd like to join the Academy, please make sure to check out the description box below to see my offerings and different ways that you can join. Astrology is a categorization system that helps understand the different archetypes of life through the cosmos. As a categorization system, it can really help you organize your own universe and your life so that you can create reference points and find solutions to different problems that arise in your life, because at the very least, you understand what category they lie on. You can actually create your own system. But why create it if there is an ancient system that already exists? The gift about organizing and categorizing your universe and your life into a model like this is to help you connect the macrocosms to your own inner microcosm. This isn't meant to limit you or put you in a box. This is meant to organize you so that you can explore yourself, knowing where the boundaries lie. We can see that astrology can sometimes be used as a, label putting machine, like, oh, you're a Cancer, you're an Aries, that's Mars, that's Venus. And this of itself can be extremely limiting because you're already putting a label and then you're calling it a day and not exploring it. But the way that I'm inviting you to use astrology, especially Vedic astrology, is by, yes, doing the labeling thing and then exploring what that is. It's almost like, if I label something as Venus, for example, I'm not just labeling this one thing as oh, this is a significator of the planet Venus and I'm done with it. It's like, if this is Venus, what else can I learn about Venus through my observation of this object? Can you feel the difference between just labeling something and then pulling back versus labeling something and then exploring it with that lens? It doesn't mean that that's the only lens that you look at it from, because what tends to happen with systems like astrology is that the deeper you go, the more that you find, and then you kind of enter into the oneness realm where everything meets of itself. But at least you have a direct line of connecting something in the third dimensional world to the cosmos and to yourself. It is a way of understanding the myth and the archetypes that you're running on. Because if you don't know, then you're just unconsciously running them. It doesn't mean that you limit yourself by the archetype. It simply gives you information about what are the themes that are running in your life in that moment. And the reason why I wanted to guide the conversation more into the Vedic astrology side and just not leave it open with astrology is because Vedic astrology gives us the wisdom of the nakshatras, the lunar mansions. These are the constellations that are behind the 12 signs that we traditionally know of. And understanding these lunar mansions is actually a life-changing experience, because the lunar mansions, called nakshatras, they are telling the story of the soul, of the journey of incarnating and entering into the realm of Maya, the great illusion, and the journey that we take to return back to oneness after the separation process. And with each of these nakshatras telling you a story from creation to liberation, when you begin organizing your own universe and categorizing it in what story of the soul's journey is this particular event in, everything in your life becomes a profound lesson. And these profound lessons give us more information about our nature, who we are, what we're meant to do. It helps us answer all these unanswered questions that we have as we journey through life. For example, let's say that you have Saturn in your 10th house of career. and you're having an existential crisis in your career and you don't know what to do and you don't know which direction to go, and you start receiving messages from these random sources. Something happened on your way to a grocery store, something happened on your way to work, something else happened at work. Whenever you have the wisdom to be able to categorize those events, I can see what is the common denominator of this message. And oftentimes I'm like, okay, if only woman gave me this specific message, I know this is coming from Venus. And maybe Venus is in a direct opposition to your Saturn. And all of a sudden, it clicks together. You understand that this repeated message that you were receiving through life was actually helping you see something about your career that you weren't able to see before. So see, this is not to say like, oh, if Saturn is in the 10th house, these are your careers and you can do anything else about it. That's it. That's your destiny. No, it's more like, okay, I know this and I'm receiving information. Where is this information in relation to my career? That starts happening whenever you have a system to organize your life. And it doesn't have to be Vedic astrology. It doesn't even have to be astrology. It can be anything, as long as it has enough depth to explore yourself and to explore the multiple colors of life. Systems that are too limited, they're going to keep you limited. You want to find systems that have like history and that have myth and story, because the deeper that they go, the more that you have to explore. And particularly with astrology, I think like having every single planet be connected to, a Roman deity or a Greek deity, and having so much information about all the stories of these different archetypes and these different deities, everything is charged with symbolism. And understanding life is understanding symbols. So if you're going to choose a specific system to learn, make sure that it has the depth to support the complexity of your life, of yourself. You want to find a system that makes you feel in awe, that gives you constant moments of illumination, of understanding about different things in life or different things about your own personal life. The reason why I love astrology, especially Vedic astrology, is because in exploring it, I realized that astrology creates great questions without having to have somebody else ask them for me. Like, asking great questions, that is the most valuable resource that we can have in our life. Simple questions, simple answers. Complex questions, complex answers. And whenever you have a complex question with a simple answer, boom, like you've tapped into the true understanding of something. And the power of these questions is that they help us understand ourselves better. And at the end of the day, having mastery over the self is what really matters in life, because you take you wherever you go. And if you understand yourself, then you can actually be equipped to handle whatever life throws your way. You'll know what parts of you need to resource. You know what are your weaknesses and your strengths, and you know how to lean on your strengths and how to protect yourself from your own weaknesses. So this is the power of really using what people before us have used and what they worked us, using the work of our past, of the ancients, to help us understand this modern life. They don't have all the answers. Life is constantly evolving. But if we know the myth, how the myth began, then we can co-create with it, knowing where we're starting off, knowing what's the story that we're beginning in. And there are thousands, maybe more, hundreds of thousands of myths all over the world. And aligning yourself to that correct myth, it helps you accept yourself better. If you're trying to live an Athena myth, but you are in a Diana timeline, you're always gonna feel like your life doesn't make sense, things don't fit. And this is the beauty of these organizational systems, especially for feminine beings, right? Like if we're in our feminine, there's all of this emotion, there's all of this flow, there's so many parts of the self that want to be expressed, and it's all happening so quickly and simultaneously. So these tools help us organize, categorize, so we can make better informed decisions. This is a way of helping ourselves contain our own feminine energy. I'll give you an example of how this was just life-changing for me. So in Vedic astrology, the Atmakaraka is the significator of the soul, and that is the planet in our chart that has the highest degrees. So this is a planet in which basically the desire to incarnate in this particular life was for the expression of that planet. And whenever I was looking at like what I wanted to do with work and career, I was looking at the 10th house, obviously, naturally, and looking at Saturn because those are the indicators. But I then started realizing that the type of life I wanted to live was a life where I didn't have so many compartmentalization in my life. It was more of a life where like my spirituality and how I express in the world was just this one big dance. So I had a really hard time connecting the two for many years, just trying to like have two jobs or start a business in this way because that's what makes sense. And I just got super confused. And then I realized that my Atmakaraka provided the solution to this problem that I had of the division, because I found the myth of the nakshatra, of the lunar mansion where my soul significator was. And this myth indicated a pattern that I was already seeing in my professional life. And this return of the light theme that happened of like having to fail multiple times in order to find commitment, in order to like find the part of myself that's like, and I will do it again and again and again because I love this so much. Having the opportunity of putting words to something that I was feeling helped me actually move quicker and rebuild quicker and get back to what I was doing a lot quicker than if I would have just done all this inner work, which eventually I would have gotten to the same answer. But I had a system that helped me organize my thoughts and understand my emotions and understand like this internal feeling that I was feeling when it came to how I showed up in my life professionally and what I wanted to create in the world. So this is the power of Vedic astrology and astrology in general, and any organizational system that you find, is that for those of us that are in this flow of feminine energy and just get lost in our own inner chaos, this is like something that's constantly like putting in folders. And whenever you have things in folders, you know exactly where to find the things, and things are organized, and it helps you with peace of mind because you're not having to process all the time. You know that you can let go of certain things because you know where to find them later on. So this is the power and the gift of these tools. And this is why I invite you, like if I can get you to research your moon's nakshatra, then my work here is done. One thing that I do want to say, this is a very important warning sign. Do not, by any circumstances, do not go online and look at predictive Vedic astrology, because it's going to send you off on a really terrible trip. It's like, oh, this means that you will lose your right eye by the age of, 36, or like there's some crazy things like that. And we have to understand, first of all, these things are ancient. So they were written thousands of years ago. And we have to accommodate to, the life that people live back there. On top of that, there's like the cultural element of it. So find the myth, find the story. So if let's say that you have like your moon nakshatra and let's say it's Purva Palguni. Find what's the story of the deities of Purva Palguni. Find what's the ruling deity and what was the story and the myth that they had, and see the symbolism. Decode the symbolism yourself. Don't go on Google and say, what does Indra's leg mean? No, don't do that, because it's gonna, I promise you, it's gonna, I'm speaking from experience here, if you can tell already. Like, it's just gonna send you on a bad trip. Find the symbolism for you. What does it mean for you whenever you interpret it based on everything that you know about yourself and your life and your mind, and begin that way. And if you find something that gives you that illumination, then you know you found your system. So explore it. Try with Vedic astrology, tropical astrology, Hellenistic astrology, human design, gene keys. I mean, whichever one you choose, make sure that you choose and you commit to it, and you commit to it not as a means of like labeling the world around you, but of organizing your internal universe. There's a fine line in the difference between those two things, and it comes down to the feeling. Does this make you feel expansive? Does it give you more? Does it excite you to discover more about yourself? Or does it make you feel limited, put in a box, and like you don't like your so-called destiny? So just some food for thought. I hope that you find the system that's gonna fit you better. Let me know if you're also into Vedic astrology. This is it's my favorite, and I've specialized in learning obviously like all of my chart, but I've specialized now in like the relationship aspect of Vedic astrology, the spouse indicator, and let me tell you, it has been a great resource for me and for my clients and for my friends and for everybody around me. So let me know in the comments if you have a system that you love and why you love it. That way, for the people that don't know and they're still in this discovery journey, they can get new ideas. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.